Why do you think that people think it's the answer?
Because it's difficult to attain. Like, people put value in things that are difficult to achieve. Like, it was hard for me to get women. So by default, I felt like getting a bunch of women was winning, and it's hard to make money. Everybody wants to make money. Everybody fights to make money. So when you make a lot of money, you feel some degree of success, and then people treat you differently. You get respect, to listen to bullshit. People can't tell you what to do. You have freedoms, like you don't have to go through airport security. You don't have to wear a mask. You don't have some stupid professor telling you to do this or do that or talking down to you. Or that was a big thing for me, is like nobody could talk down to me. When I was in college, that's actually like that was my last day of college, was when I told my professor to go fuck himself, and like, because he was talking down to me, and I was just like, you're not gonna talk down to me, like, who are you? And it's like, I made like $100,000 that week, and I'm just like looking at this guy like, I made more this week than you made in the last 3 years. You're not gonna talk down to me. Like, I've been in the military, I've done shit. Like, what have you done? You've read some books. Like, you are here. I am above you. I know that. I may not be the greatest, but I know I'm better than you. I've done more than you. I've accomplished more than you, and I don't talk down to you, so you're not gonna talk down to me. And I think having that like actual confidence coming from like a place of previous insecurity felt good, because it's one thing to like act cocky. It's another thing to like know that you have accomplished things that you have set out to do. And that's where you get real confidence from. Not to say that I'm like the most confident guy in the world, or at the time I was, but I was certainly a lot more confident than I was before that. Right. So I think like it's a perspective of wherever you start versus where you're at. And so you start at the bottom and you get to here, you're feeling pretty good. If you started here and you come to here, you're not feeling so good. You're at the same place, but it depends on where you start, right? So I think that's important.
But I think that also gets into the area of like, what's a meaningful pursuit and what's like a meaningless pursuit. I think like some people might pursue fame just to pursue fame, just so they can be famous.
Well, I think they understand that it's access, and they like how other people treat them. I think that's another thing, is like people like to be treated well, and I think with fame comes respect, and it comes admiration. And I think initially it feels good to have a bunch of people like tell you how great you are and whatever. Eventually you get to a place where you really don't care. Like, you actually don't care if people tell you you're great or tell you you're a scumbag or whatever, because like, it's like you've heard it all, and you know that you're not the greatest, and you're also not the worst. And then you come to a place of like actual confidence in yourself, where it's like, you can say whatever you want. I know that I've done this, this, and this, and I've accomplished things that I've set out to. They may not have been the best goals, and they may not have been the right pursuits, but I did achieve what I wanted to achieve. Right or not, I achieved it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and I think a lot of people don't achieve the things that they want to achieve. So I think, look, at the end of the day, you can only judge yourself by the games that you play, right? So if you never run a race, then, you're never going to be a great sprinter. But, so, and who cares, right? You don't have to be. But if your whole life, that's been a focal point, or you're really slow as a kid and you never get to be fast, then you may look at that as a perceived lack, or you may not have that confidence because you never achieved something that you felt like, you were bad at. So for me, I, did a lot of things that I wasn't good at. And so I was pretty happy about that. Like I said, I probably chased the wrong objectives, but.
It's interesting. One of the things I found myself appreciating so much reading your book was your honesty. And we may not have like complete overlap in most senses. My experience in life is unlike yours in so many regards. But I appreciated your honesty, and I think there's so much value in it for everybody out there, because you said you have explored so many things and you do have so many notes. And I think being genuine and having honesty is probably one of the only criteria that we have. Like,
it's the rarest thing. Like, in a relationship, people always ask me like, what's the most important thing? And I always say honesty. Like, that has to be the start, like, and it's difficult. Like, honesty, I think, is the hardest thing in the world, because it's so much easier to just say what's comfortable. And I think that you build trust so fast when you're honest. When you ask somebody a question, they tell you something that they know you don't want to hear, but it's the truth. I'm not proud of it, but this is what it is. Like, you get enough of that, and then it's like you have to be able to trust that person, because they're not telling you something that's convenient for themselves. And I think there's a lot of people that fancy themselves as being honest, but when push comes to shove and something is uncomfortable, they lie, and it's a very slippery slope. You're either honest all the time or you're not honest.
Yeah,
It's like, it's like if you're not honest when it's, it's really uncomfortable and it sucks, and if somebody asks you to be hooked up with another girl and you don't want to tell that girl and it's going to hurt her feelings and whatever you can rationalize, but the truth is the truth, man. Like, so it is what it is. And you can, either be honest or you can, do what's convenient. And I think, like I said, most people do what is convenient.